If it's adventure you're after, you will get it in bucket loads in Madagascar. Madagascar. To Madagascar. To Madagascar. 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 The adventure of Madagascar. Madagascar is absolute mecca. They call it a land of contrast, and let me tell you, they are not lying. Madagascar is just unbelievable in terms of the diversity of landscapes, of people, of wildlife, of plants. It is just the most incredible country. How's it, guys? Gus the African Plant Hunter. This is the 5th episode in my ongoing series as we do our self-drive adventure around the southwest of Madagascar. I am standing in the magnificent Isalo National Park. We're right on the edge of it. Beautiful sandstone cliffs. But I've done a lot in the last few days I need to catch you up with. So I left you in Morombe, which was on the coast. And from there, we headed down really off-road on some quite hectic sand tracks through the most extraordinary forest of baobab trees. Like, these were grandidieri, the really tall ones, the same ones that I saw in the Avenue Allée des Baobabs, but these ones were short and stumpy and fat. My goodness, so fat. Why? Because, well, they're growing in very shallow rocky soil, so they couldn't grow tall, but boy, were they spectacular. Wandering through those was just like an ethereal experience. Unlike the Allée des Baobabs, these trees had not a single other person anywhere in sight. So we just had the whole place to ourselves to wander through, and I was breathtaken by them. From there, we went to the little fishing settlement of Andavadoka, to a stunning lodge called Laguna Blue. My goodness, this place is just paradise on earth. It's everything that you expect a beach resort, resort's not the right word, but a beach paradise to be. There was the most insanely azure blue ocean and white sand, and absolutely nobody around. A little tiny fishing village. We went on a pirogue, a little traditional pirogue, and went out snorkeling in the bay and just slabbed out on the beach and just really had a fabulous time there. If I could have just pressed pause and stayed there for a week, I definitely would have done, but I couldn't because there was so much more to see. This area is the spiny forest, and the spiny forest is something else. Extraordinary degree of endemism. Something like 90% of the plant species in the spiny forest, which is very, very, very dry indeed, and dominated by these the octopus trees, which look like a kind of a cactus, but they're actually very woody rather than succulent. And yeah, totally different. They belong to a family that's only found in Madagascar and only found in that area called Didieraceae. The same Didier that Grand Didier, the famous baobabs, Adansonia grandidieri from the Allée des Baobabs, but he gave his name to an entire family of these spiny forest species. And not only did we see it just on the side of the road, but we went to not one but 2 different botanical reserves specially dedicated to protection of the spiny forest. And my goodness, what a lot there was to see there. So many different fantastic species. A moringa species, the Delonyx with a big thick stem that they use to make, I think they make canoes from it. And then the balsa tree, I mean, just, yeah, I was totally blown away by it. And then in the midst of it, as you're walking through this spiny forest, well, goodness me, there's a lemur, and of course there's a chameleon, and the birds. The birds are all extraordinary. This country, the wildlife diversity is just remarkable. From there we got to Tulear. Tulear is the sort of biggest city in the southwest of Madagascar. Refueled and hit something that we hadn't seen for a while. It's called tarmac. Apparently it comes from Scotland. And yeah, it was really quite a relief, I think. We'd had some deep sand. We actually had to recover ourselves on a few occasions from the sand, a bit of pushing, a bit of digging, snatch recoveries, but it was all part of the adventure. And then from there, we have come up to this park. This is Isalo. This is the most visited park in the country, I'm told. And yeah, it is spectacular. It's kind of like, I don't know, like Colorado or Arizona or the Southwest, except of course all the plants and all the animals and all the birds here are totally different. Magnificent sandstone vistas. You can see those cliffs behind me just going on forever. It's huge, this park. We just spent the day there today. In a little bit of it, we saw ring-tailed lemurs, which was fabulous because we hadn't seen them before, and they are the national animal of Madagascar, and justifiably so. I think they probably are the cutest of all the lemurs. Really special to watch them. It was hot, 37 degrees. We're at like 500 meters above sea level, so thinking it wouldn't be quite so hot, but no, it was. But then we hiked up into the hills, and then we found these crystal clear, very icy cold pools. A waterfall into a pool and jumped in. What a relief that was. And then we walked out and came back here to our lodge, which is just on the edge of the park, Satrana Lodge, which is just, yeah, in a really magnificent setting. Sun is going down, it's low in the sky now. That means one thing only. It's sundowner time for sure. So that's the end of the 5th episode of my time in Madagascar. We've had 3 weeks here, there's a couple more weeks to go. And the time's running out, and I'm just feeling already the kind of impending sense of loss because I've just enjoyed every single minute of this country. And being able to drive ourselves, most people that come to Madagascar fly around. Some get driven around by drivers, but we're driving ourselves. That's a self-drive adventure. That's what it's all about. And what a privilege it is to do that.